Let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first, and the man of lawlessness is to be revealed, the son of destruction. And now you know what restrains, for him to be revealed in his time, for the secret of lawlessness is already at work, only until he who now restrains comes out of the midst, and then the lawless one shall be revealed. Here is the wisdom. He who has understanding, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Sigma Higgs.
And that no one should be able to buy or sell, except he that has the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Χριστός. Ιησούς, Ιησούς Χριστός, Χ, Σ, Σίγμα, Χ.
I have come in my Father's name, and you did not receive me. If another comes in his own name, him you would receive. Do not think that I came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to complete. For truly, I say to you, till the heaven and the earth pass away, one jot or one tittle shall by no means pass from the Torah till all be done. Whoever then breaks one of the least of these commands, and teaches men so, shall be called least in the reign of the heavens. But whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the reign of the heavens. For I say to you, that unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall by no means enter into the reign of the heavens. Do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace but a sword. Nullifying the word of Elohim through your tradition, which you have handed down, and many such traditions you do. This then is the way you should pray. Our Father, who is in the heavens, let your name be set apart. And when you pray, you shall not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the congregations and on the corners of the streets, to be seen by men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you pray, go into your room, and having shut your door, pray to your Father who is in the secret place, and your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. And when praying, do not keep on babbling like the nations, for they think that they shall be heard for their many words. Therefore do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the stomach of the great fish, so shall the Son of Adam be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. I do not pray that you should take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the wicked one. Since then it remains for some to enter into it, and those who formerly received the good news did not enter in because of disobedience. When there arises among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and he shall give you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder shall come true, of which he has spoken to you, saying, Let us go after other mighty ones, which you have not known, and serve them. Do not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahweh your Elohim is trying you to know whether you love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being. Walk after Yahweh your Elohim, and fear him, and guard his commands, and obey his voice, and serve him and cling to him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams is put to death, because he has spoken apostasy against Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, and ransomed you from the house of bondage, to make you stray from the way in which Yahweh your Elohim commanded you to walk. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. When your brother, the son of your mother, or the son of your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend who is as your own being, entices you secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other mighty ones, which you have not known, neither you nor your fathers, of the mighty ones of the people which are all around you, near to you or far off from you, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. Do not agree with him or listen to him, nor shall your eye pardon him, nor spare him, or conceal him, but you shall certainly kill him. Your hand is first against him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people. and you shall stone him with stones until he dies, because he sought to entice you away from Yahweh your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, from the house of bondage. And let all Israel hear and fear, and not again do any such evil matter as this in your midst. When you hear someone in one of your cities, which Yahweh your Elohim gives you to dwell in, saying, Some men, sons of Belial, have gone out of your midst and led the inhabitants of their city astray, saying, Let us go and serve other mighty ones whom you have not known. Then you shall inquire, search out, and ask diligently, and see if the matter is true and established, that this abomination was done in your midst. You shall certainly strike the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, putting it under the ban, and all that is in it, and its livestock with the edge of the sword, and gather all its plunder into the middle of the street, and completely burn with fire the city and all its plunder before Yahweh your Elohim. And it shall be a heap forever, never to be built again, and none of that which is put under the ban is to cling to your hand, so that Yahweh turns from the fierceness of his displeasure, and shall show you compassion, love you, and increase you, as he swore to your fathers, when you obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to guard all his commands which I command you today, to do what is right in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim. A voice was heard on the bare heights, weeping supplications of the children of Israel, because they have perverted their way, they have forgotten Yahweh their Elohim. Return, O backsliding children, I shall make your backsliding cease. See, we have come to you, for you are Yahweh our Elohim. Truly, delusion comes from the high hills, the noisy throng on the mountains. Truly, in Yahweh our Elohim is the deliverance of Israel. The coming of the Lawless One is according to the working of Satan, with all power and signs and wonders of falsehood, and with all deceit of unrighteousness in those perishing, because they did not receive the love of the truth in order for them to be saved. And for this reason Elohim sends them a working of delusion, for them to believe the falsehood, in order that all should be judged who did not believe the truth, but have delighted in the unrighteousness. These are fountains without water, clouds driven by a storm, to whom the blackest darkness is kept forever. For speaking arrogant nonsense they entice, through the lusts of the flesh, through indecencies, the ones who have indeed escaped from those living in delusion, promising them freedom, though themselves being slaves of corruption, for one is a slave to whatever overcomes him. You then, beloved ones, being forewarned, watch, lest you also fall from your own steadfastness, being led away with the delusion of the lawless, but grow in the favor and knowledge of our Master and Saviour, Yahushua Messiah. To him be the esteem both now and to a day that abides. Amen. They are of the world, therefore they speak as of the world, and the world hears them. We are of Elohim. The one knowing Elohim hears us. He who is not of Elohim does not hear us. By this we know the spirit of the truth and the spirit of the delusion. Yehuda, a servant of Yahushua Messiah, and brother of Yaakov, to those who are called, set apart by Elohim the Father, and preserved in Yahushua Messiah. Compassion and peace, and love be increased to you. Beloved ones, making all haste to write to you concerning our common deliverance, I felt the necessity to write to you, urging you to earnestly contend for the belief, which was once for all delivered to the set-apart ones. For certain men have slipped in, whose judgment was written about long ago, wicked ones, perverting the favor of our Elohim for indecency, and denying the only Master Yahweh and our Master Yahushua Messiah. But I intend to remind you, though you once knew this, that Yahweh, having saved a people out of the land of Mitzrayim, afterward destroyed those who did not believe, and the messengers who did not keep their own principality, but left their own dwelling, he has kept in everlasting shackles under darkness for the judgment of the great day, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them in a similar way to these, having given themselves over to whoring and gone after strange flesh, are set forth as an example, undergoing judicial punishment of everlasting fire. In the same way indeed, these dreamers defile the flesh and reject authority, and speak evil of esteemed ones. But Michael, the chief messenger, in contending with the devil when he disputed about the body of Moshe, presumed not to bring against him a blasphemous accusation, but said, Yahweh rebuke you. But these blaspheme that which they do not know, and that which they know naturally, like unreasoning beasts, in these they corrupt themselves. Woe to them, because they have gone in the way of Cain, and gave themselves to the delusion of Bilam for a reward. and perished in the rebellion of Korah. And the 10 horns of 10 sovereigns from this reign, they shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and it is different from the first ones, and it humbles 3 sovereigns, and it speaks words against the Most High, and it wears out the set-apart ones of the Most High, and it intends to change appointed times and law, and they are given into its hand for a time and times and half a time. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, The appointed times of Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as set-apart gatherings, my appointed times are these. 6 days work is done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest, a set-apart gathering. You do no work, it is a Sabbath to Yahweh in all your dwellings. These are the appointed times of Yahweh, set-apart gatherings, which you are to proclaim at their appointed times. In the first new moon, on the 14th day of the new moon, between the evenings, is the Pesach to Yahweh. And on the 15th day of this new moon is the festival of Matzot to Yahweh. 7 days you eat unleavened bread. On the first day you have a set-apart gathering, you do no servile work, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh for 7 days. On the 7th day is a set-apart gathering, you do no servile work. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, When you come into the land which I give you, and shall reap its harvest, then you shall bring a sheaf of the firstfruits of your harvest to the priest, and he shall wave the sheaf before Yahweh for your acceptance. On the morrow after the Sabbath the priest waves it, and on that day when you wave the sheaf, you shall prepare a male lamb, a year old, a perfect one, as an ascending offering to Yahweh, and its grain offering, 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, an offering made by fire to Yahweh, a sweet fragrance, and its drink offering, 1/4 of a hin of wine. And you do not eat bread or roasted grain or fresh grain until the same day that you have brought an offering to your Elohim, a law forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, you shall count for yourselves 7 completed Sabbaths. Until the morrow after the 7th Sabbath you count 50 days. Then you shall bring a new grain offering to Yahweh. Bring from your dwellings for a wave offering 2 loaves of bread, of 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour they are, baked with leaven, firstfruits to Yahweh. And besides the bread you shall bring 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones, and 1 young bull and 2 rams. They are an ascending offering to Yahweh, with their grain offering and their drink offerings, an offering made by fire for a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And you shall offer 1 male goat as a sin offering, and 2 male lambs a year old as a slaughtering of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them besides the bread of the firstfruits as a wave offering before Yahweh, besides the 2 lambs. They are set apart to Yahweh for the priest. And on this same day you shall proclaim a set-apart gathering. For yourselves you do no servile work on it, a law forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when you reap the harvest of your land, do not completely reap the corners of your field when you reap, and do not gather any gleaning from your harvest. Leave them for the poor and for the stranger. I am Yahweh your Elohim. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th new moon, on the 1st day of the new moon you have a rest, a remembrance of Teruah, a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, On the 10th day of this 7th new moon is Yom HaKippurim. It shall be a set-apart gathering for you, and you shall afflict your beings, and shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And you do no work on that same day, for it is Yom Kippurim, to make atonement for you before Yahweh your Elohim. For any being who is not afflicted on that same day, he shall be cut off from his people. And any being who does any work on that same day, that being I shall destroy from the midst of his people. You do no work, a law forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It is a Sabbath of rest to you, and you shall afflict your beings. On the 9th day of the new moon at evening, from evening to evening you observe your Sabbath. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, On the 15th day of this 7th new moon is the festival of Sukkot for 7 days to Yahweh. On the first day is a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work. For 7 days you bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. On the 8th day there shall be a set-apart gathering for you, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. It is a closing festival. You do no servile work. These are the appointed times of Yahweh, which you proclaim as set-apart gatherings, to bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh, an ascending offering and a grain offering, a slaughtering and drink offering, as commanded for every day, besides the Sabbaths of Yahweh, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your voluntary offerings which you give to Yahweh. On the 15th day of the 7th new moon, when you gather in the fruit of the land, celebrate the festival of Yahweh for 7 days. On the first day is a rest, and on the 8th day a rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the first day the fruit of good trees, branches of palm trees, twigs of leafy trees, and willows of the stream, and shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim for 7 days. And you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahweh for 7 days in the year, a law forever in your generations. Celebrate it in the 7th new moon. Dwell in booths for 7 days. All who are native born in Israel dwell in booths, so that your generations know that I made the children of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh your Elohim. Thus did Moshe speak of the appointed times of Yahweh to the children of Israel.
But late in the Sabbath, as it was dawning into day 1 of the week, Miriam from Magdala and the other Miriam came to see the tomb. And see, there was a great earthquake, for a messenger of Yahweh came down out of heaven, and came and rolled back the stone from the door, and sat on it. And his appearance was like lightning, and his garments as white as snow. And the guards trembled for fear of him, and became like dead men. And the messenger responding said to the woman, Do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Yahushua who was impaled. He is not here, for he was raised, as he said, Come, see the place where the Master lay, and go quickly, say to his taught ones that he was raised from the dead, and see, he is going before you to Galilee. There you shall see him. See, I have told you. And they left the tomb quickly with fear and great joy, and ran to report to his taught ones. And as they were going to report to his taught ones, see, Yeshua met them, saying, Greetings. And they came and held him by the feet and did bow to him. Then Yeshua said to them, Do not be afraid. Go, report to my brothers to go to Galilee, and they shall see me there. And while they were going, see, some of the watch, having gone into the city, reported to the chief priests all that took place. And when they came together with the elders, and taken counsel, they gave enough silver to the soldiers, saying, Say that his taught ones came at night and stole him away while we slept. And if this should be reported to the governor, we shall win him over and keep you out of trouble. And having taken the silver, they did as they were instructed. And this account was widely spread among the Yehudim to this day. O Yahweh, my strength and my stronghold and my refuge, in the day of distress the nations shall come to you from the ends of the earth and say, Our fathers have inherited only falsehood, futility, and there is no value in them.
Who has gone up to the heavens and come down? Who has gathered the wind in his fists? Who has bound the waters in a garment? Who established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if you know it? Yahweh bless you and guard you. Yahweh make his face shine upon you, and show favor to you. Yahweh lift up his face upon you, and give you peace.